Hey, so every morning, especially on Mondays, we have our Rockstar Recharge. It's around 10 o'clock. It's after I get done with the gym. When I come in, my head's working, I got a little caffeine in me, and we'll watch a video. Grant Cardone, Ryan Pineda, Hormozy, Ed Miley, whatever flavor of the day, and we get juiced up, we talk about it. Then we go through each person's assignments, their wins, and their agenda for the day. It's really important that I'm there, though. It's really important that I lead that meeting, because as the leader of Rockstar Capital, I have to show that I'm in it to win it. I have to make sure that my expectation and my level of commitment is higher than anybody else in the room. They have to match that. Last year we did a purge. People who didn't share my expectation level, and they're no longer with the company. Now I've surrounded myself with a bunch of killers, because I got Navy SEALs here, not baby SEALs. I had baby SEALs before. Now we got killers around me, all working in the same direction, working for our investors, working for each other. And that's how you build a culture, is when you show up to that meeting every single day, you lead by example, you let them know that I got you, but you got to get me. And if they can't hit it, hey man, the door's that way. It's great to see you, because we're building dreams here. And I can't do it if we're not all together. I hope that helped you.
I mean, if anything,
So I don't take single day off.
I'm,
I don't take single day off.
I don't take single day off. That's a great point.
Yeah.
But you know what I'll do? I'll go out and I'll have a drink.
Yeah.
This is just like when the Astros won.
Yeah.
And the whole fucking city's off. And they got a parade, just like they're doing today, when it doesn't really fucking matter. What matters is that the rest of the world's working and you're not. And somebody's
That's how
catching
you
up to
win.
you,
That's
or you're
how you
falling
win.
further behind.
Period.
So, not being ugly about it, look, I'm a minority, but you know what? I play for me. I don't play for a race. I don't play for anything other than the name on my back. It just happens to end in a Z. It's not what got me into college. It's not what's made me successful in life. It's the fact that I just won't quit. I won't quit on myself, because I can't afford to quit on myself. I got everybody watching. I got my kids. I got my ex-wife. I got you guys. I got everybody to take care of. I got my future grandkids. I got my future life. Because one day we're going to go to heaven, and you're going to meet the man you were supposed to be. And you're going to look at him and he's going to say, what happened? It's not going to be me. Not going to be me. I want to make sure that I work my ass off. Because you got limited time, man. You got limited time. And guess what? There's a time to play. But you got to work hard before you can play hard. So many guys go on the weekends and they go clubbing, especially young guys, clubbing and spending $100, $200 on a Friday, Saturday. You haven't fucking earned it. You don't deserve to do that.
They spend their whole paycheck on the weekend.
Because we all know what happens when you have a good time Friday night or Saturday night. What happens the next day, Adrian? You know? You're hungover.
Broke.
And you're broke.
And you regret it. I regretted it back in my early days. Damn,
And if you went to a titty bar, you're blue ball the next day too. So it's worse. You got all three hitting you: a hangover, I'm broke, and I got nothing. I still don't feel good. I got 3 ways to feel bad. What if you went to the gym or something? What have you worked? What have you put that extra time in? What if you went to a webinar, to a seminar? What have you learned? Man, you're smart the next day, and you're alert. You're getting your laundry done. You're going to church. Yesterday was crazy. I felt it too. We were on the way to church, and first I got blocked off by what is this? This cop speeds past me, and I'm like, oh, he's going somewhere. Must be an accident. No, it was the marathon.
Oh.
And I didn't even know it was the marathon, because I fucking got my head down working. I didn't know there was a marathon going on. So it's a Chevron marathon. All right, so that's the devil telling me, don't go to church. Go to Luby's. I always wanted to go to Luby's. That's where we're going to go for lunch. And I like Luby's. And then I went another path. Okay, you know what? Let's try one more time. Another path. Got blocked off again by the marathon. I'm like, wow, this is a sign I should go to Luby's. No, it wasn't a sign to go to Luby's. It was a Satan trying to get you away from what I needed to hear. From the message you have to hear. And then you go and you make it in. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, wow, and I felt good that I went. Poor Jacob tried to call me and I wasn't able, because I was at church. And it's like, I'm glad I went. It was a good message for me about hope. And not trusting God that He will provide even when things are bad. I needed to hear that message for me. And you know what else? I wasn't the only one. It was a packed house. So not everybody got tempted. And everybody decided they wanted to go to Luby's. And guess what? Luby's wasn't very good that day. So I would have been rushing for nothing. They didn't have my favorite turkey. It's my favorite. They didn't have it. But I got my heart filled. So that's what I'm trying to say, that you have these moments of temptation, right? And like right now, look, they just replied. Let's see what they said. What do you think they said?
Some sarcastic shit.
Shrug.
Probably a meme or
Lucky
something.
us or something.
Or just a reaction.
Yes, sir. Corporate associates only. Site teams are still operating with a floating holiday.
Floating holiday. I think anybody under 70 should have shown up. No skeleton crew, but they didn't even tell us.
What should I say? We're working.
Yeah, I would.
Send a
I'm gonna send a picture.
I want to get in on this.
No days off over here. Yeah, get in, guys.
Where you at? I can't see y'all.
Who's gonna Photoshop me in? I look like Brad Pitt.
I got you, Jacob. I got you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back to business.
All right.
Should I send that?
Yeah.
Send it. Do it.
My team should have bright and early.
And after that,
No
take a
days
screenshot.
off here.
Take a screenshot, send it to me. I'll cover your story.
I mean, but it sounds cliche, but
Have fun with my kids.
you're absolutely correct.
Isn't that terrible? Have fun with my kids. They're at home.
Shit. I'm sorry, I don't.
I mean, if you're working while everybody's sleeping,
Alright, I'm alright. We're Navy SEALs for a fucking reason, dude. Not everybody's built to be Navy SEAL. Alright, so what's left? So,
Hey, guy, Robert.
Jacob.
Not to break up the fun.
No, I don't want to have fun. I want to get back to work. I want you to tell us what the
I just took a look at Lakeview and Aspire just because it was the first one I opened, and their the balance statements show liabilities for deposits for security deposits, 50 grand, 35 grand. So I think if it was on the bond, I don't know if it would be a liability, right? Because we would have.
What that means that
we
they're
would
cash.
back to them directly, right?
That must mean that they have cash deposits in, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. All right. So here's what I want to do before this meeting is over. I want you to take over, and I want you to tell us about what's going on with the refinances of Steeplechase and Valencia, and tell the guys what they need to be focusing on, because we cannot blow that. We got to get those. And then the next ones will be, I think, Newport. No, what's going to be next? Newport and Meadow Park?
I think Meadow Park for sure. I was hoping to. I actually want to talk about what we're going to do on Aspire, even though it's not necessarily for a refi, because that's just as important.
Yeah, just don't make it so high. Make it high level. Don't give so much detail, so we can just kind of get through the meeting.
Yeah. You want that now, or do you have other things?
No, I want you. I want you to. I want those to be the focus. Steeplechase and Valencia first.
Okay, fine. So where we at our high level Valencia, let's start with Steeplechase, because that's really we're actively engaged with the lender on that one. We're waiting to get some feedback from them as to where what we can expect with the change in interest rates. One of the things that's been the focus, obviously, like a lot of these other properties, is that they went through a downturn in November, December. We had a good call with Tony regarding what we need to do there to make sure that we don't have that going forward, but also we don't want to lease up at lower rents, because the lenders will also look at the trend. You can't say your occupancy is up if you're giving very strong concessions. They'll then apply that against your NOI, because the NOI they use is a combination of what's actually happening at the property and what they're going to forecast based on what you're able to achieve in the short term. So it's very important there that we focus on the continual lease up, or I should say occupancy, since not lease up, does not come at the expense of any rents, and certainly if there are any sort of concessions, they are not directly against rent, right? We want to see if they can be against some sort of amenity or gift card, however they figure it out. We just want to make sure that the rent itself is strong. Also, there's an emphasis on any sort of write-offs, we want to make sure that it actually needs to be written off. Obviously, there's an operational focus. This is not a contradiction to, we want to make sure there's no skips. We're not going to ignore it like our PM was doing, but we're going to see if we can work out a payment plan. We just want to be very, very aggressive with the communication with the tenants in the short term, not something that I think is feasible on every property long term, but whenever we're actively refinancing a property, we want to make sure we know what's going on with any tenant that's not paying or that is late. Are you running into any issues? Is there anything we can do to set up a payment plan? Because I think some of these people, if they fall a couple months behind, they kind of panic, which makes sense. Your lower income, it probably takes up a decent percentage of your income, as it is the rent, even if it's not the highest rent. And so we don't want to make this a portfolio policy, because we expect people to be responsible and prioritize their rent as individuals. But in this short-term period, let's make sure that if anyone's falling behind, that we offer them something, or we let them know that we're really focusing on it, because we don't want to be in a position very soon where the bank asks for the updated financials and there's more bad debt, or that rent's gone down. So those are, I would say, the critical ones. Expenses, we just need to make sure there's no surprises. Again, we're going to get those payroll numbers. The rest of the numbers we know what they are. Those don't change too much. So with steeplechase, it's really, we're in the trenches now, so we just got to make sure that we don't, we follow our work plan, we follow the game plan, and we focus on the rental revenue. Obviously, other income's important too, and we don't run into any collections issues.
Jacob, let me jump in there real quick for a second. I want to make sure that you guys, one of you walks their delinquency right now.
Oh no, I already put it.
Okay, good. Hold on, let me finish my point. Because she leased up really quick in a fast amount of time off a request. Let's make sure it's real.
Right.
Let's make sure we actually got occupied. Let's make sure that we're not holding units over, because we just saw it happen. So, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Let's take this as a learning example. I would hope they wouldn't do that. I hope that they were professional enough to not do that. But now we're going to have to quality check, trust but verify. Walk those units, make sure her delinquency is real. Walk her new move-ins, the ones that allegedly moved in, and see what they look like. See if they're real. You can't trust anything anymore.
No.
Not, it's somebody else's people, not my people. So we got to make sure they become ours. We have to make sure that they pass our validation tests. So, all right, okay, Jacob, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and even more to that point, we could think that we're going to be on top of them, or they think they might get one over on us, and like Robert said, only twice, shame on me. But the lenders are having even more randomized lease audit process, especially with the agencies. So they'll pick something the day before. We try to be proactive and get an idea, but they might pick a couple units. And I've had this many times where the property owner will send over to the manager, hey, we're looking at the couple of units, and all of a sudden the manager's stumbling and fumbling and saying, oh well, they just moved out yesterday. He's like, what are you talking about? We have no it's clear something had happened beforehand. So just even if we think we have a narrative, the lender can spot check it in a way that we might not be prepared. So that's why we want to do what the lenders can do in advanced field work. Valencia is the next one. Again, that one is a little bit more behind because we do have a higher vacancy. We also were struggling with a little more bad debt. One thing that I would ask when we are speaking to the regionals and to the property managers is, are we making sure that our other income is reflective of the expense, like for utility reimbursement? I'm noticing sometimes that the other income is way down on the T3, but it seemed like the expense went down, which sometimes can be explained by, I guess, if it's direct bill or there was a change in how the certain expenses are charged. So it might be a timing thing. But again, that's the kind of thing where if it's normal on a T12 and 1 month is a little different, we can explain that to a lender the same way we can explain it to anyone else. But if there's any sort of operational change, or we're changing how we bill anything, or we're changing how we reimbursed. Let's make sure we have a conversation about that. Let's make sure that, you know, if the property manager or the regional, when you speak to them, when you're walking a property, says, oh, I'm thinking about doing, you know, implementing something. Let's just have a talk about it, because with Valencia, we do have a little bit of flexibility that we're not there like steeplechase yet, where we can say, okay, let's see, what does this, how does this impact me in the next 30 days? And if it's not going to hurt us, from a refinance perspective, then maybe let's take it. But if it's something that might be a short-term setback in terms of cash flow that benefits the property long-term, maybe we just take a pause and say, all right, we'll implement this, but let's just wait 30 or 60 days. Again, it's the same primary focus. Let's make sure that the lease-up is not at the expense of the rent trends. Let's make sure that we're being aggressive and proactive on any sort of delinquencies, and those are really two are the big ones there. I don't foresee any other major issues, and again, that's really going to be the theme across most of these. If it's a cash flowing property and we're looking to refinance it, and we'll have a conversation, you know, on specifics as they come up. Let's just make sure we're not sacrificing rents for the sake of occupancy, especially with leasing season coming up. And I think the last one I did want to mention was Aspire, because Aspire is not up for any sort of refi, and we do want to make sure the cash flows are stronger, but ultimately that's going to take a little bit more time. So when speaking to Chrissy on Friday, she mentioned that if she would either, and I'd love to hear what you got, you know, Aaron and Alex, what you think about this. She said she felt that she does a market analysis every week, and whether she feels there's more room to increase rents. She felt that specifically on Aspire with certain unit types, if she can increase them, especially with leasing season coming up, she can definitely get decent pops on some of those. And since anyways, we're not, you know, the cash flow that we would gain by just leasing them right now would not solve anything. I'd much rather, and I think Robert, we discussed this,
Yeah, I'm listening.
we'd much rather see the larger rent increases
What he's saying
maybe
is
30, 60, 90 days out, rather
Get higher rent
than
so that we feel it later on.
just
Not get rid of the farm.
occupancy going up, because we're anyways in the 70s. Let's get, so if you guys see that, if you guys think that there's some units
We need
that
extra every dollar.
maybe they can even be more aggressive on, let's just let them know, let me know, and that's really it. Just Aspire, especially, let's see if we can really, even if it's a little slower, and even it's just preparing ourselves going into prime leasing season. We benefit much more from higher leases in 2 months than we do from lower leases right now.
Good. That's
So Jacob, to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, so I completely agree. You know, for most of the communities, I mean, what we used to do back in the day, to substitute for giving out specials, we never used to give out specials, by the way. You know, we would do like raffles, we would do big leasing giveaway, like TVs, game systems. So I feel like that's a good alternative, especially with a lot of these markets. I mean,
Amazing.
like home security systems, you know, whatever, just a substitute for, you know, giving out the rent and giving out the farm. I would rather spend $1,000 on an item instead of $1,000 for every move-in that we have, you know, times 10 people.
Or even if you are going to spend money on something, at least put it into the property.
Right,
As
exactly.
an asset.
Upgrade.
An upgrade
You
of
know.
some sort.
I think also people, have you seen any experience with some people, they want to see something like in their hands today because they're more conscious maybe about cash now? So if we give them gift cards for local restaurants, or you know, they can go out to dinner,
Gas
you know,
cards.
once a month or something like that for the next 6 months, you know, $50 a month or something.
You know what we would
Just
do is,
different ideas, like you said, just keeping it not impacting rent or anything, or improve. Yeah, those are all phenomenal ideas. Anything that you guys think in today's market will have the most impact, right? I think in some markets, people are, you know, they're not as conscious about the cash flow, but if you can make them think they might win a gaming system, then you'll have their attention. Other properties, the tenants might be really tight, you know, even or be concerned about that, and if you can tell them that they'll have a free dinner out every month for the next 6 to 12 months, and they can pick it up monthly as long as they're there, then that's cool to them,
Right. So another thing that we did is especially on the longer sitting vacant units, what we would do is we would also put like a TV, like Jacob said, something physical that they can see right now. And it was one of those. It was a 32-inch, cheap TV, nothing crazy, but it would be like, hey, if you move in, you get this TV with you today. I remember doing that, or gift
Move in
cards, or
within the
Keurig
next week,
machines, or something.
you know.
Yeah, and now we're giving crazy discounts. I mean, we
Well,
cut back on
so
some of the things.
we're gonna fix it. They're gonna
Yeah.
do what we ask them to do
Right.
because it's our business.
Yep.
So if we don't say nothing, they're gonna do what they think makes sense.
Right.
And sometimes they're gonna win. Sometimes they're gonna what their strategy. Hey, that makes sense. But we also know what makes sense for us. We just have to.
Do we know what our direct competition is doing to get their people signed up? Like, are they? I know you can go on the website and see $1,000 off or a month free, but we all know that sometimes those are more strategic, and that's only for the 1 bedroom. You want a 2 bedroom. Like, are we able to still do? I mean, you guys might be too famous by now. Those, the 2 famous guys walking to all the cops. But can we get some people to try to at least, just inquire actually by walking some of the comps, maybe at some of our properties that
Like
need
shop
real leasing?
opportunities?
Honestly, I've walked especially for Aspire. I went to 1, 2, 3 comps, and they were trash. Honestly speaking, like there's no reason why we shouldn't be filled up.
Turn you away or something?
Yeah, one of them told me. I walked in and it was something at Buffalo Point or Buffalo Bayou, something like that. It's right off of Buffalo and
Oh, that Buffalo over there? Okay.
and I shopped it and I walked in and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a 1 bedroom. Oh, well, unless you're looking for a 600 square foot, I don't have anything else.
That's bullshit.
That's literally what we're dealing with. And at the
We're always leasing. We
Yeah.
should never ever be
So I
full.
was like, perfect. This is our competition. The other one was the Morgan Group, and the lady didn't even
Share that story.
I told the staff they were in jeans. The other guy, the manager, it's like I have tattoos too, right? But the dude had his tattoo, like he was like, yeah, and he was talking shit about.
That company.
It's scary.
They were talking shit about Aspire. I asked them, well, I'm considering Aspire. Oh, you don't want to go over there. They have break-ins and this and that. So they're bad mouthing the competition too. So I wouldn't lease at any of them. I'm not saying it just because we own
That's how
Aspire.
you beat them through the reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, is that true? Let me check my reviews.
Right.
Dude, if it's
Who
right-
handles our thanks for bringing that up. Who handles the review response? Because I was clicking through because I saw those really good ones, and then someone was, we had that mice issue, and there was one person that was actually kept complaining about the mice at that property,
Yeah.
and now they keep finding them. They don't, there was no, even if you can't keep that person happy, but if there was a response from management that, hey, it's not, we don't see you frustrated, it's actually from outside the property, it's from a, development next door or whatever it is, we're doing our best, to get them to, do the whatever, at least people understand that it's not, if I'm someone else reading through that, at least I understand that it's not because the property's in poor condition, or just anything.
Right, and the previous standard was to respond to our reviews within 48 hours.
Right.
So do we either write that down? Let's write that down for our list. So they have an internal system. And what I've seen is the response is, hey, we're sorry, not meeting your expectation. Please give us a call at this number. Huh?
It's generic.
It's a generic, and that's fine. As long as somebody is responding, it's fine. It's up to us now to do the real response, right? The in-person response, right? So, are you on that email list that gets all the reviews every day, the bird's eye?
I can send Christy.
I got one on Friday. I don't know, is there one going out today?
It goes out every day, once a day, and then I think I got one this morning. Was like the weekly one. It's the same one, but it's.
I'm not on that email chain yet.
Okay, I'm gonna forward you today's the one that I got, and it's very helpful because I read them, I forward them off,
Yeah.
and they
It's like
respond.
a
It's
weekly
exactly what we used to do here at Rockstar when I was sitting in the chair and all the regionals reported to me. So I'll send it to you now, and if there's anything you want clarification on, you can forward it straight to Christy.
Need to request access?
Yes. Yes. Request access copy of Jacob. Okay, anything else?
I'm good on my end.
Okay, good. I see there's quite a number of emails that Mandy's been sending to you about mail. Are you on top of that?
Yeah, they're mostly the insurance updates or the tax stuff that you'll see them as they come in. I send them to Taylor or to whoever needs them.
All right, Sounds great. Thank you, Jacob. We'll let you go.
All right, thank you, John.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so obviously, you all have tasks?
Yes.
Okay, I should have asked them, where are we on getting the rate cap money back into our accounts?
Let's see. I'm going through the email, seeing if I can find any account-specific information.
We still don't have a contact info? I thought we were working on this last week.
Oh, no, so we reached out to one of them. I think it was the one for Aspire. And then I need to find the TD bank contact for, yeah,
Okay,
I'm still
you're
getting
sounding
some-
uncertain, which makes me uncertain.
No, I'm getting some, I've only found like one or two contacts.
Are you not doing anything with him to help him on that? I thought they had assigned you one of those tasks.
I don't have access yet to, I'm still trying to get.
What are you
access.
working on?
So right now, I'm working on the probate and the insurance stuff.
It's not probate.
I mean, probate, I'm sorry, prorated, I'm sorry.
Prorated, pro forma, which one are you doing?
It's the prorated amount annualized against the budget, if not the
Okay.
T12.
Not probate.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We don't sound smart when we say probate. Pro forma or it's prorated, one of those two. Those are the only pros we have, right? Okay, so make sure you stay on top of that, keep communicating with him. I'm gonna be doing a 2-week review with you guys. At the end of 2 weeks, I want you to write down everything you've been doing, because I need you to justify your existence. I need to know that you guys are on top of it and you're helping things out. Because I paid him a shitload of money to be here, and I think he's great, but he says he needs you. I didn't understand why he needs you. Okay?
Correct.
So I need you guys to help me figure this out.
And then I'll team up with him about. the
Stay on it.
stuff, so.
You guys should be on the phone with him with huge regularity. Your focus is you're working on the presentation, right?
Yeah, and then also, I'll send you a draft of the email you want for the accounting delay.
Yeah, that's just simple.
Okay. Just-
That's 2-3 sentences.
Right. Yeah, I'm just saying that, we're writing to inform you that we're delaying the release of the December 22 financials for 2 weeks. Our accounting team is taking this time to get ahead of our end of year reconciliation. We apologize for any inconvenience and want to assure you that we're fully committed to providing accurate and reliable.
Right, so the new date will be what, the 14th? Is that or what's the new date? What's 2 weeks from the 20th?
It'll be, February 3rd.
Okay, well, that's when it needs to go out. So we will have to you the end of the year by February 3rd.
February 3rd.
Okay, and make sure that is sent to Jacob, and you guys know now, okay, it's in your heads. We gotta have the December numbers up. So you gotta push Pauline, you gotta push him for whatever. Pauline's got a meeting with me on Thursday, you all should probably come. I know Jacob's gonna be there, unless y'all just wanna do it from Zoom, but she's asked me to be there.
No, yeah.
So we're gonna be there at the MGA office, which is about 10 minutes from here. Cause I don't know if I can answer all the questions, but you guys can probably, so be ready to come on Thursday and bring your computer. Let me see what time it is.
That's this Thursday, right?
This Thursday, it is, it's not on my calendar.
Do you want me to go check?
No, ask Mandy if she knows anything about it. And if not, then I need to, because I know Ashley's the one that told me about it. She said that Mandy was staying on me on it. But I know it's Thursday. That's very important. Because she lives in Arizona, so she asked, we need to see her for a reason. What else?
And Robert, do you have a document or anything that lists out who is all in the team Rockstar Churchill LLC? Because I see that Tracy Tyler, I know you said you wanted to remove her from the list, but I saw that she has 10K in steeplechase.
If they put equity in, I can't take them out.
Right. But yeah, I don't have a document of who actually is part of that team Rockstar Churchill LLC. I'm assuming everybody like put some money together for that entity.
Shouldn't it be on the balance sheet?
I don't see it in,
And that's where we need to be today with this. So I'm happy to start this meeting now. That was bullshit what happened on Friday. Now, and I did my best to not lose my top, but I'm glad it happened because it removed another person out. And every time that's happened so far, we get something better in. But we will use this now as ammo to remind them that, hey, will you just listen to us, please? Will you just listen to what we're trying to do? Will you just believe us and we know what we're doing? You know? And so that's exciting. I was talking to Jake, and I wanted to turn this guys. I want to turn the meeting over to you guys. But Jake and I had a couple of conversations before the meeting. I think we need to make sure that number one, we get their delinquency ourselves, or you walk it yourself. You can pull the report, so you don't even have to send it to you.
Yeah, I have.
You know, and then I think as regional, you should walk these units. You know, because now I realize, like, shit, I can't trust you. And we're gonna keep walking it until we know you know what you're doing. And then we'll spot check it afterwards. But we have to retrain them. You know, RPM is now Rockstar. That's stuff to me.
Right.
You know, we should have learned these lessons years ago. And we're having to, working with you. Now, okay, so we got a baby, and we got a baby seal, we gotta turn him into a Navy SEAL, right? We're gonna show you how to do that. We're gonna verify it. And you're gonna get it to our standards. So again, 60 days I think is right, until they can get to the point to where we can spot check them. Payroll, that's a really good thing. See, our payroll's a balloon. I wanna know what payroll they have. So Jacob, there's a lot of OT, well, we gotta verify that. We gotta understand, because they're doing it without telling us. No, so I think Jacob, you brought up a really good point with the payroll we're talking, like, we gotta know. They need to send us a payroll report by month, per property. You know, and it's like, how many hours did who, what, and bonuses and commissions, I fucking hate that when we're underwater on NOI, I don't even understand that. Whose bonuses and commissions are you hitting, because you ain't hitting my budget?
There's thousands of dollars that they're spending on overtime. I looked at the report.
How do they establish that? Guys, if someone could, obviously I'm not.
Well, we need to
How do you
get
guys
that.
determine?
Yeah, well, the budgets were determined by Bill Nye. The budget were determined by Bill Nye from before, so now those are out. Now we have a New Year's budget that they're creating, which our team is now going to be approving. But we got to make sure no one gets paid extra for doing the minimum. That's just bullshit. That's what your salary's for. You know, and so we got to make sure that you're going to get paid for commissions, renewals. They should be switching the lion's share of that to the renewals, because that's really what we're wanting here. You know, we're now monitoring the resident reviews, which is a good piece. We're putting those in. I love that I'm getting bird's eye now every single day. And I'm seeing the activity. Shit, there's a lot of 5 stars coming in. See, if you don't request it, you ain't gonna fucking get it. You know? They don't know what we want. We have to educate them on what we want. They're not dumb people, they just don't know how to do it the way we want. This is a tried and true program and system. So that's how we're gonna do it. So back to payroll, we just need to make sure that we set up a system where, along with the monthly reports, we're getting your payroll, so we can fix it for the next month.
Right, we would, more than just the payroll report, we want them now, and I spoke to Chrissy about it, we want to see an actual, like a payroll a roster, like who are your full-time employees, what are they making, who are your part-times, what is your overtime. It's simply about, if you're staffed properly, you shouldn't need this, and if you're overstaffed, what's the rationale, and if you're understaffed, again, I understand with some of these properties, like you said, right, you guys are making sure that they're doing the right thing. That's moving people out and that's getting the right people in, and some people just give notice and leave, and that's the nature of the business. But ultimately, they're going to point to the numbers that we approve at the beginning of the year and sort of justify that, because they don't, that's how the standard is established for them. So as much as everyone there is going to make sure that the employees are actually doing the work, we want to make sure that they're not either reallocating employees on their own volition between the properties. The explanations that we've gotten for sometimes as to why the allocations aren't 50-50 was, well, one property more overtime than the other. Well, then is one property getting more overtime because you're not making another employee available? And just different things that we'll see probably as these reports come in, and you guys will have that knowledge of being there and also knowing how these things are supposed to happen, whether that's BS or not, whether does a maintenance guy really need that kind of overtime for this kind of property? Was there any event that happened there or any sort of issue that should have required that kind of work, or was he just, maybe end of the year trying to pad the payroll a little bit?
Yeah,
I'm sure that's something you guys will notice pretty quickly. You guys have that knowledge operationally. And Robert, back to the point about the bonuses or the commissions, I believe you mentioned last week, sometimes can those be deferred to a certain amount to see if those people actually stay and we don't end up with skips? And sort of that might also be a second incentive to make sure that when we are enhancing the whatever we do to make during the application process, if people know that it's actually gonna come out of their own commission or their own bonus, then maybe they actually will, aside from whatever we tell them to, they'll actually, because there's only so much you can have someone do. So
You know what,
they know
I
that
can
this
ask that
person
question.
skips, it's out of their pocket.
Yeah, I got you. I can ask that question, Jacob. I don't know. It's obviously not industry standard, but it doesn't have to be industry standard. I can talk to RPM on our next meeting and see if we can do it and pay it quarterly. What do you think about paying it quarterly?
Instead of monthly?
Uh-huh. And then they go and they do a true up.
Yep, that's possible.
That way they do a tighter screen.
That's
Because
possible.
nobody wants their money.
And
to
also
get-
then that prevents them from maybe looking for another job in the middle, right?
That's what Cardone does. He doesn't pay his commissions until the end of the year, in January. So you'll hold it. So that's.
I think for people at a lower income, holding it for a year is probably a lot if they're relying on it. We don't want them to, get bummed out. But quarterly for a leasing agent or an assistant manager is probably reasonable, especially if they're at an asset that had a lot of skips or bad debt.
Well, we're paying our investors quarterly, so I don't see why it's not. Well, we're not paying monthly, So I'll bring it up in the meeting next. I wanted to talk also about things that we can do to enhance the NOI, and I think the guys talked briefly about move-out charges. So I did send that email over to Christy over the weekend. So they had, they don't feel like we're charging enough on the move-outs, on what they call the,
Financial move-outs?
FAS. What's it stand for?
Financial account statement or?
Financial account statement, or they're just whatever their imbalances. They're not charging back for the damages that they're creating. And that's
Do we
not
not?
helping.
We don't bill for that?
They're supposed to bill for
Yes,
that.
we do.
But it's up to the manager to walk the unit, take a notepad, and say, okay, well, there's a hole in that wall. Hey, there's a huge stain in the carpet. Hey, the appliances don't work. Like, these are things that we give it to them in working order, like a rental car. You bring it back to me all dinged up and scratched, I have to charge you.
Right.
How long do we have to release the deposit?
30 days.
30 days per the contract. It's in the landlord law that says if you don't do it within 30 days and they keep asking for it, then you have to give them 3x the deposit. But I'm not even worried about that though, Jake. I'm just worried about that they're not taking the step to just actually write it down.
No, I'm wondering if are they even waiting the 30 days and just giving it out, or is there does that have to be signed off on, right? Like, can one of you guys say, oops,
Yeah, we can. We can
That's
actually change it.
So
can one of you guys say, like, until Aaron or Alex confirms, that with the PM or the regional that this property, that this unit was walked. Obviously, you guys are not going to go down, but if they say something to you, they got to look you in the face or over the phone or email or whatever and say, yes, I walked this property.
Jake, in the first Rockstar, we never get back deposits because the team was accurately trained to go and find everything and charge them legally for everything. So we rarely wrote checks back. It wasn't until new management came in and we lost a lot of that emphasis on holding the money. That's our money. And that with their shitty deposit of $300, $400, they're going to have damage. I always did when I lived in an apartment. I had something wrong that I screwed up.
Carpet cleans.
Touch up paint, carpet cleans.
Light bulbs, all kinds
Everything.
of stuff.
And do you know what? I just.
Can we increase the amount of the
I put
deposit?
it on my email.
Say it again?
and my notes.
Can we increase the deposit to like the 1 month's rent?
I don't
that
even
too
know
much?
what it is. I'll be honest. I don't even know if we're doing cash deposits or we're doing surety bonds or what it is we're doing.
And I think it's a 100 surety bond. There's different ones that cover up to 400.
So we need to find out exactly what is our standard at RPM. Because I don't know. We used to only do surety bonds. So Alex is thinking it's a combo of cash deposit and surety bond. Let's find that out and let's make sure that our guys get a copy of each financial account statement before they're sent over to accounting.
They're approving refunds on
Too many
thousands of dollars of refunds.
And I have it on my notes here to request the move-out charge list from RPM, what their standard is, because I remember we used to have one with Rockstar back in the day, and that was like our pretty much our Bible, like, this is what you're gonna walk, and this is what you're gonna charge for, and
It
that's
should
the X
be
amount.
added in the lease.
Yeah, it
So,
should be.
I mean, over the weekend, I tried to check a few, because I was seeing the numbers from like the prior rent collection. So, like on a micro scale, steeplechase is only $2,000 for the whole year. which is ridiculous for prior rent collections. So I tried
The whole year.
to, yeah, I tried to look at some move-out charges to
So,
see.
Imagine all the bad debt and that
Right.
we didn't collect anything on.
Just
That's crazy.
2K.
We were just having a conversation about this. Just 2K.
Yeah, so I tried to check some financial move-out statements, but we didn't have
We don't have
access.
access.
So
Yeah.
I sent the email
To who?
to Christy and Tony.
But they don't have, they're off today, RPM.
Tony Sousa.
They're off today?
Okay.
Martin Luther King Day.
No. They're not a bank or a school. That's lazy as fuck. Are you kidding? I walk downstairs and I get it from the losers in the bank downstairs, but man,
Yeah, they're closed because of MLK.
dude, we're in observance of Martin Luther King doesn't mean business slows down. It doesn't mean we close our doors and say, woo, nothing matters because it's Martin Luther King Day. It wouldn't matter if it's President's Day or Columbus Day, whatever other bullshit holidays that people get days off for.
Yeah, and they were running skeleton crews, so.
Hello,
The
just to
offices
point
are
out,
open.
Felicia's actually.
Now, hold on. The
something
offices
else.
are open
But
for
the corporate-
confirmation.
yeah,
The
but-
corporate is closed.
Yeah, regardless, that's fucking lazy to me.
These are the days that people can catch up in corporate.
That's
right?
exactly.
Working from home.
Exactly.
True.
They're not working from home, they're fucking off.
Yeah.
No.
So,
No.
I should
You
send
have
my
an
text
out-of-office
message.
response, then
Martin Luther King Day off. Ha ha ha. I'm gonna do that right now. Said the message. Corporate associates only. Site teams are still operational with a floating holiday.
floating holiday.
Doesn't mean that they take it
No, I think that means they switch off.
for a future day off.
Yeah, that's.
I guarantee you they're.
Well, we should go.
Yeah.
You should do your audit before you go into work.
I'm gonna go there, and I wanna do the same thing, because, you know, when were we there? The day we caught her with Lisa.
Friday.
Thursday.
Thursday.
The day we caught her with Lisa, Aaron and I walked the property, and there was 2 trailers, and I asked her just randomly, just asking, hey, you know, who's the C50, I think was the name of the.
She
was the
left. I
carport.
think she went to go see, honestly, how to pull up who's paying for a carport.
Yeah,
Remember
I don't even think she knew how to pull it
She
up.
acted like the phone was ringing. She was like, "Oh, who's calling?" And then nobody was on the phone. She got up and walked to the assistant manager's office.
And probably asked her, I think the assistant manager was running the whole property, to be
At
honest.
where?
Honestly,
At
at
Valencia.
Valencia.
Because I asked
Well,
her. I had a
I'm just worried about her because Lisa didn't show up for nothing, you know. And regardless if she's unemployed or not unemployed, you know, she was still. Lana should have known better. So her head may be checking out. You've seen the numbers checking going south.
Mhm.
You know, what was it that they found out about her? What was she doing wrong? That surprised us. She was doing something.
Recently?
Was it?
Mhm.
I don't know.
They told us. Was it delinquency? Was it something? It was something.
I think that she wasn't even doing, I know for a fact she's not even doing the Monday reports that the assistant manager's doing. So I don't even know, I don't think she.
You know, it's funny how you're in the top third and all of a sudden you start flowing down.
She
the other
didn't.
way.
Oh, she didn't want to show up for the performance.
Oh, yeah,
evaluation. She
performance
Yeah,
evaluation.
she took the day off or something.
Or she tried, and then they forced her to come in. But I have a few notes that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do an audit of the carports, ask them, hey, give me all the carports that you have, and start there. That's additional income. If we're not charging them, then they need to get the hell out for our carports. You know, I think that's the easiest, how we bring that in a item for other income. I know that's one of the things,
They got the abandoned vehicles, the
Mhm.
carports.
yeah, trust me, she's not walking her property. I guarantee you she's not. Simplest thing.
Valencia?
Yeah.
She used to.
Yeah.
I drove it and I took pictures of cars that were there, and I was like, hey, you need to sticker these
It was
cars.
simple stuff. There was cars double parked, oil leaks, running into the like things that, you know, you would obviously catch and address immediately with one call. I didn't see them exercise there.
All right.